Joining us now, Kevin McCullough, conservative syndicated radio host with Salem Media. Monique Presley is an attorney and Democratic commentator. And thanks both of you for being here on this day after Christmas. I guess whether this administration has achieved a great deal in 2017 might depend on which side of the aisle you're on. Monique, give us your assessment from a Democrat's perspective.
I think from a Democrat's perspective and from an honest Republican's perspective, this past year has gotten a D- to an F in terms of actually accomplishing the very robust agenda that the president promised during the campaign and once he was elected. We saw a GOP-led Congress and a Republican president not seem to be able to get their acts together enough to push forward an agenda when they were in the majority. So sure, there's a new Supreme Court justice, but even when you look at that, the Speaker had to suspend rules, change rules, refuse to have a vote for almost a year in order to wait for this president to get in office to get that done. So that's not really a Trump win. That win goes to McConnell.
CBS News is not generally favorable toward this president, Kevin, but here's a line from one of their recent articles. Despite his low popularity and his drama-filled White House, Mr. Trump has done what many of his predecessors haven't. He's fulfilled many campaign promises. Monique says he hasn't, but CBS says he did. Give us your assessment.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not sure that's what Monique said, but let me just address what that issue brings up, and that is that in politics, the key is to keep your word. So on nearly every agenda item that you can point to, he's either fulfilled the promise or he's made great progress towards it. Now, the Democrats may not like the promises that he's made, but you cannot say he didn't get tax reform done. You cannot say he didn't repeal the individual mandate, which will be the silver thread that undoes all of Obamacare. You can't say he didn't get the border wall process started. You can't say that he didn't get a Supreme Court justice in place, 12 circuit court judges that look just like him, and about 70-plus judges. He's ahead of Obama's pace at replacing judges at this point in his presidency. In fact, at the end of year one, he's closing in on where Obama was at the end of year two. You're talking about 80-something accomplishments, 11 legacy rollbacks from Obama, and 800 regulations rolled back. This has been a very busy White House. Again, it may not be something that Monique's side of the aisle likes, but you can't say they haven't been active.
They have repealed the individual mandate, Monique, and
that's not the same. I'm sorry to interrupt, John. That's not the same as repealing Obamacare, and we know that that was the promise. Let me add a new letter because it seems that E for effort is supposed to count. So they've really tried to do some things. They're starting to move toward the border wall. I don't care about them actually building a border wall. It makes no sense. It costs too much money. It's not going to work, but they promised it and they didn't do it. They haven't repealed Obamacare. They passed a tax measure, yes, they did, that is going to help the top nth percent of the American public. So I can't imagine that real Trump supporters would be excited about that once they figure out what's actually going on. Yes, they get a grade A, an A+ even, for trying to reverse every single thing the past president did. That, I think, is their real agenda. Doesn't matter that it doesn't help the American public. Just the fact that they're getting that done seems to be enough.
But Kevin, when you look at the economic growth numbers and when you look at the stock market, I mean, not everybody's in the stock market, but it's a pretty good barometer of how the business climate goes in this country.
It's a very good barometer, and we definitely want to roll back every single thing Barack Obama did in terms of job creation. We don't want 1.5% GDP growth. We want 4%. And now, in quarters 3 and 4, we've been north of 3 without the tax reform pass. Now the tax reform has passed. Quarters 1 through 4 of year 2 should be much, much better. And Monique, I know that your side doesn't like the objectives, but you cannot say that in at least commissioning the start of the wall and the different plans that now the Customs and Borders Enforcement have to approve and test, and Congress not having yet approved the money, you can't say that they haven't been active on it. So again, some promises have been completely fulfilled in year 1. Some are in process, but all of them have made progress.
The president also says he wants to get an infrastructure bill passed, and that would seem to be the one that both sides are going to be in favor of. That might be his easiest lift yet. We'll see.
Perhaps so. But where the economy is concerned, I just have two things to say. Thanks, Obama, and Merry Christmas.
All right.
Didn't happen until Q3, which had nothing to do with Obama.
Okay.
Monique Presley and Kevin McCullough. Thanks, both of you.
Thank you.